You must be new security guard.
Can I help you, officer?
Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Them. In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom.
Hello?
They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots. Thanks for the heads up.
Technically, they're animatronics.
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Pappy! Tell me how to stop them.
It's too late.
Bobby, go!
Welcome back to another movie review. Today I am reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's, based on the popular video game franchise. Stars Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lillard, and among others. Tells a story of a guy named Mike Schmidt who gets a job as a night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but then soon realizes that the job is a lot harder than he bargained for. Okay, so Five Nights at Freddy's. I was actually kind of looking forward to this film. The trailer looked like some cheesy fun, and I was in the mood for some cheesy fun, especially for horror. You know? I like that kind of horror. It looked like cheesy fun. Kind of like the movie Willy's Wonderland. I really like that film. And, you know, that's pretty much like a knockoff Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Nicolas Cage is fantastic in it. Now, what is my background on Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, I think it's been about since 2016 since I've played any of the games. So, I don't really remember much of the lore, but this movie kind of reminded me of it just a little bit, and, yeah. So yeah, I remember enjoying the game just fine. You know, it's just jump scares and shit, you know, anxiety, fucking just making sure those animatronics, those silly little rascals don't get into the security room, you know, shit like that. What did I think of the film? Well, I don't know how much fans are gonna react to my review. I don't know how they're going to, because, I really did not like this film. This movie was a massive disappointment for me. Now, I'm not gonna say it's like a total misfire. It's definitely a lot better than that piece of shit Exorcist movie that I saw earlier this month. It's a lot better than that, I'll say that. But yeah, this movie, I didn't think it was very good. But let's start with the positives, because I do have a few. I thought the animatronics looked fucking incredible. The Jim Henson Company, that's the company that did the animatronics, I thought they did a wonderful job. They look exactly like they did in the games. It was cool seeing them like really fucking huge on the big screen. That was awesome. Yeah, they just looked great. I did enjoy every scene that they were in. I thought that aspect of the film was great. There are a couple of good scares in this film too. And also the performances were really good in this film as well. Josh Hutcherson, really good in this film. Matthew Lillard, even though he barely has any screen time, I thought he really took advantage of every scene that he had. He was the best part of this film. Okay, that's about it. This movie was boring. I mean, really fucking boring at times. Most of the time, actually. I struggled to stay awake. This movie just did not interest me. I found very little interesting, and also this movie's messy as shit. Almost to the point of fucking incoherence. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, there is way too goddamn much happening in this film. I would have preferred it if it was kind of more like the game, where it's just like almost entirely in the fucking pizzeria. Now I will say a lot of the movie does take place in there, but I just wish the movie would have been solely focused on that instead of like dreams and flashbacks and shit like that. Because yeah, what this movie does is like, okay, I commend the film for having some character development. You know, a movie kind of needs that. I commend the film for doing that. Just the only thing is that it's not interesting. It is not executed very well. Even though I did like the performances, and Matthew Lillard was really good in this film especially, it's just that the characters were not very interesting. I didn't really care about what was going on. Yeah, and yeah, there's just way too fucking much going on in this film. This film should have just kept it simple for the first time, for like its first outing as a film. They should have kept like more building and building and building for sequels. And I think a sequel would happen because the theater that I was at anyways was packed. So I'm assuming this movie is doing very fucking well at the box office, but yeah, it's just that this movie bit off way more than it could chew for its first big screen adaptation. It was just a huge fucking mess. Also, the scares. There were a couple of good scares, but this movie is really lacking in scares. There aren't that many scares in this film, which was really disappointing considering that the games are just all about the scares and the anxiety. There was very little of that in this film, which was very fucking disappointing. As a horror film, this movie is extremely underwhelming. Now, I will say, yeah, every time the animatronics showed up, it was cool, but it just wasn't scary. This movie is not scary at all. It's just a very fucking boring, uninteresting film, which really fucking disappointed me. And yeah, there's like, the atmosphere just isn't there, the scares aren't there. I thought the animatronics were very underutilized because there's so much other bullshit that's going on. I would just rather have had this be like just a very brisk 90 minutes of just scares and anxiety. That would have been perfect for like a first outing for Five Nights at Freddy's as a movie franchise. Yeah, overall, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, it's just a very underwhelming, disappointing horror film with a huge lack of scares. Also, this movie's violence, I wish this movie would have been rated R. Like, I get that the fan base is mostly, like, children, but this movie definitely would have benefited from an R rating. It would have made it more fun, at least. You know, just have a little bit of a gore fest. I mean, it felt like this movie was trying to be rated R, but because, oh, we gotta get more butts in the seats because kids love Five Nights at Freddy's, we gotta make it tame so they can handle the fucking movie. I mean, when I saw X in theaters, there's tons of kids in there. And that movie's gory as shit. So I think if you would have made this movie gory, kids would have still loved this fucking movie. Kids would have still been in the theaters. I don't think the R rating would have affected the box office really at all. But yeah, if you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, fuck, I'm not gonna stop you from going to see it. Fuck, see it if you want. You might even like it. I'm not gonna stop you from liking something that you like. If you like this movie, that's great. All the power to you. But for me, I expected more. I wanted more scares. I wanted more atmosphere. I wanted a more entertaining film than what I got. It's not one of the worst films of the year. I mean, it's better than The Exorcist, I'll say that. Like, The Exorcist Believer, way fucking better than that. I am going to give Five Nights at Freddy's a D+. So what'd you think of Five Nights at Freddy's? Comment below, let me know, and if you like my stuff, you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.